Now, Central Valley Today.
You never know when you might need the services of a private investigator, but a private investigator actually offers so much more than just surveillance services. Here with more details is Michael Bra. He's the owner of Atlantis Private Investigations. Michael, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. It's great to be here.
Oh, I've got so many questions because it's so interesting.
Sure.
Let's start with the basics. What is a private investigator?
A private investigator is essentially it's a detective. The same thing that I guess a lot of people compare it to policemen or police detectives, but we're just available on the private sector. People will hire us. We're information brokers. We collect and distribute information.
Oh, it's so cool, Michael. And I don't think a lot of people know, but it's hard to be a private investigator because you actually have to have a license.
There is a process you have to go for. I used to practice law. That was kind of my background. And being a lawyer, you can go to law school, you can pass a bar, and you can start practicing. But there's no school really for private investigators. The hardest part about the job is getting the necessary hours. In order to get the license, you have to put in 6,000 hours. That's, yeah, just so you know, that's 3 years full-time work, working as a private investigator, and it's just hard to find people who will work with you.
Yes, which is so important to know that we have one here in town that you can hire in Atlantis Private Investigations. But tell me, why would folks need to hire you? What do you offer?
Well, we do three things. Surveillance is a big part of what we do, and that's just covertly watching people. There's a Latin word for it called sub rosa, which means behind or under the roses, you know, hiding behind the bush.
Yeah.
We'll use surveillance for workers' compensation cases. You'll have somebody who says they're injured at work, but maybe they're not so injured, and they'll want us to get film on that. Of course, the salacious cheating on the spouse is very popular.
Very juicy. We see that in the TV shows all the time. So husbands or wives will hire you to check up on their spouse.
Yes, they will.
Wow, what's that like for you?
You know, I'll be honest, it's not my favorite part of the job because it's kind of, I don't want to use the word dirty, but it's people cheating on each other, and we're out there to try and get pictures of them. So it's not my favorite part, but it's the part that everyone always wants to gravitate to when they ask me about being a private investigator.
And I'm sure it's necessary sometimes. So will you then deliver your findings to the husband or wife?
Yeah, in fact, that's kind of one of the things that we take pride in is how we deliver our findings to people. When you have a business, people usually produce something, and the question that comes up is, what do you produce as a private investigator? And the answer to that, our widget, is our report, our investigative report. And with my background in law, I'm able to put together, I can write well enough that I can put together these reports that are readable, they're usable, they can be used in court later on.
Oh, I bet, because you're a lawyer.
Well, not anymore, but I was.
Yes, so you were just so passionate about PI that you left law.
Well, not exactly. I practiced law for 10 years, and then I lost my license in 2008. And on the road back to getting the license, I started doing this, and I liked it so much, I said, I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
There's two things about this job that, number one is I was good at it, number two, I loved it. And somebody told me once, if you find something you love,
that's true.
You never have to work another day in your life.
So true, Michael. And you have a team of folks, so obviously they're probably naturals too, because this job is not cut out for anybody.
Well, that's not exactly correct. I do have 3 people that work with me. I'm not going to give their names, and they don't want to be on television for obvious reasons. But I trained them. And I like to get young people in who are interested in doing this and train them myself. I've looked to the colleges to get college students, because they are good writers. They're eager to learn it. And if they don't want to do the private investigator job as a career, they have great stories to tell. I used to do this when I was going to college.
Yes.
And that's the idea.
Because I'm sure, I mean, how much does it cost to hire a private investigator? I'm sure it just depends on the case. Yeah,
we're not cheap.
Yeah.
And you're going to be spending close to $100 an hour to have a private investigator working on a case. So you want to give the client the best, the best use of your time, the best value.
But the things that you find out are probably priceless.
They can be.
Yeah. What else? Give us some examples.
Well, we do a lot of financial asset backgrounds as well. There's 2 kinds of forensic asset searches. They're the kinds that a CPA would do, which you get where you get into the books. We don't do that. What we do is we look to the person's assets that we can see. We look to maybe what where they're investing their money. Do they have a car? How much is owed on it? How about their house? How much are they paying for rent? And by taking all of these things, we can work backwards and reconstruct to see how much money they're making by how much they're spending. That's kind of our area.
I like that. Do people hire you in divorces?
All the time.
I bet. So that's helpful for a spouse? That
is very helpful if there are assets in question, but more often we are asked to look into child safety. There's an order in place, and during the visitation, the mother or the father is possibly doing drugs or alcohol, and they'll want to get evidence of that so they can present it to court. And that's the kind of area that I prefer to work in, that we're very good at, and is, I feel at the end of the day like we're doing a community a service.
You sure are. Let me tell you, life is messy, and it's easier if you have somebody who investigates and cleans up stuff for you and really gets evidence. I feel like in any court case you need evidence, and being a former lawyer, you have the expertise.
Sure.
So please, everybody, reach out to Atlantis Private Investigations. Tell us the best way to get in touch.
Well, always on the phone, area code 559-478-8220. I answer all my phones. Please call. Or you can go to the website, atlantisinvestigations.com. There's forms on there. You can find out more information.
Yes. Well, we are just so intrigued, and thank you for your services. Like you said, you are doing a community service here and helping folks.
Oh, thanks, Stephanie.
We appreciate that, Michael. Thanks again. Coming up, we are going in the kitchen and learning how to make a healthy salmon taco. Don't miss it. Next.